Hello, everybody. You're listening to the Big Chill Podcast. This is episode 26, Double D's. Welcome back, Big Chillers. Hope you got your pens and pencils ready as we're three amazing pundits ready to give you our tips of the week and our NFL bets of the week, because we are high flying, which I'm actually sure we're probably not. And we're going to find out pretty soon how poorly we did last week. Not a good week, but wasn't our fault that the Patriots sucked. So we'll just blame it all on the Patriots. Let's start by saying hi to the boys.
I'm just going to start by saying the Patriots were one of many problems for us in last week's bets. We did not have a good outing.
Yeah, the Patriots definitely kind of explained a decent amount of it, but the three of us got 4 games wrong. Like all 3 of us getting it completely wrong. So I think that's the first time that's happened. We all got the Packers wrong. We all got the Patriots wrong. We all got the Browns wrong, and we all got the Vikings wrong.
Now, do you think that's us swaying each other's opinions?
No, because we disagreed on quite a lot, actually.
Yeah. I also got the Bills wrong.
Yeah, and our overall standings, I mean, we can cut to that straight away if you want. Quite remarkable, I have to say. Sam may have noticed this already, but...
What do we got?
So last week I went 9-5 with my straight up picks. Frank, you went 7-7, and
Oof.
Yeah, and Sam went 6-8. And then
but I did hedge a few of those where I took the one team to win money line, but then took like the 2 points the other team. Did it help?
Well, congratulations, because you tried to thread the needle and you went 500 with your straight up and under 500 against the spread.
So it did not help.
You probably got both of them wrong. We can take a look at that in a second. But and then against the spread, we all went 5-9. So that's the first week where no one actually has won.
Wow.
Spread. Now that takes our season records. I am now 63-27-1 straight up, 46-43-2 against the spread. But the most remarkable thing is that now straight up, you are both 56. Oh no, wait, sorry. Straight up, Sam is 56-34-1. You are 54-36-1. And against the spread, you are both 42-47-2.
Wow. So we're
my collapse has been spectacular.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam, you have well and truly fallen off a cliff.
I mean, the only thing I'll say about the fact that our against the spreads don't look so great is that we are picking every game. I mean, if you go to any other site where they give you their tips against the spread, they're usually giving you their 4 or 5 best ones. They're not giving you all 15 games.
Don't throw me under the Frank and Sam bus here. I'm still
But imagine
500.
how much better yours would be. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're only at around 500, but if we were only giving our 4 or 5 best, I think we would be a little higher than we are. But when we're being forced to pick shitty games that I would completely stay away from.
Sorry, I didn't realize you were being held hostage during the podcast here, Frank.
Yeah, we are. Look, because I suggested we only do 4 or 5, and you screamed at me and said, no, we're doing every game every week. So technically, I was actually forced.
Well, here's the thing is, though, you say this, but there is every chance that some of these ones that you are most confident about are ones you're getting wrong. You're assuming that when you have...
No, the ones that I get right are the ones I'm confident in, 100%. Every one I get wrong is one I wouldn't bet.
So you would have never considered taking the Patriots minus 9.5. You would have never taken... You thought the Packers would win, but there was no way you were taking them -1.
I will say... Next year, once we start getting, tons of our sponsorships and thousands of fans, we should take our money and put back into the Vegas.
The Super Contest. Yeah. We 100% do the Super Contest next year.
Yeah. The Big Chill Podcast. That's our name.
I think that, yeah. And then the rule for the super contest should be like, if we agree, we do it just normally, we make our picks. And like, if we agree on 5, they go in the super contest.
Yeah. Does Sam know what it is? Want to explain to him?
Yeah, Super Contest, I'm pretty sure, is a contest that's pretty big, but it'll be good to know some ideas behind it. Yeah, it's pretty super, but it'll be good to know some things behind it.
You pay in, everyone pays in their entry fee. I can't remember what it was the couple years.
I thought it was 500, wasn't it?
I think it was around $500.
Is it like they as a team? Like, would we be the Big Chill team, or is it individual?
You can be either. So a lot of people are doing it collectively. And then basically you make 5 picks against the spread every week. And then I think the top 20 get paid out in some degree. But obviously if you win it, it's quite a large sum of money, because I think the year we did it, we did it 2 years.
Yeah.
I think it was around 2,000 people, something like that. So you got 2,000 people paying $500 each.
And the 1 year we did pretty decent. I mean, decent is a relative term, but we were in like the top 20%.
One year we were top 100. So yeah, that was pretty. We were never really like, it was clear from like week probably 10 onwards that we weren't going to win money, but we kept going, and I think we finished around 80th or something. So that's like the best we did. But obviously if you did get paid out, it would be, the only issue with it is that you have to register in person. Like someone registers on your behalf in person, and you have to submit your picks in person. So we were paying.
Okay.
We were paying.
Oh wait, Eddie, we were really off. The entry fee is $1,500 because we were paying $500 each. Remember?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes more sense.
And so now the top 100 contestants win cash prizes, and the 2019 winner won $1.5 million.
What was the caliber of the person you paid to make those picks in person for you?
So we had a friend of a friend, and she always did it, which was surprising, because the worry is, right, if you just, and not even if it's intentional, but just like life gets in the way one week. And because also we would tend to give her the picks, not last minute, but she wouldn't have a huge window, right? So if we were telling her our time Thursday evening, she had to submit the picks before like Saturday night. It doesn't give her a huge amount of time to like physically drive to the casino, go inside, hand in the picks, and do all that. But we did pay her.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but we did pay her.
Did you like somehow like bargain with her?
No, I think, to be honest with you, I think she almost would have done it for free. But then I think she also, when she agreed to do it, maybe didn't realize quite how painful it was going to be. That it was going to be like 17 weeks of having to drive into a casino. But I think we gave her like $200 to do it, which is not a lot, right? But I think it was, and I think I also implied that if we were to win money, she would get some of it. Now, here's the really big issue. Had we won the money, it was in her name. So the moment we would have had to have really trusted her was when she picked up $1 million.
You weren't hearing from her again. Oh, friend of a friend.
I wouldn't have blamed her.
No, she's cutting and running.
Yeah.
So okay.
I don't know what's the amount of money when you just take it for yourself. Like, I feel like if it's $10,000 and you're hoping, really.
Frank, I don't think you understand, because people, but I guess Frank's got a logic here. Like, if he cut and run with it, there must be an amount of money the other way, where you're like, I don't care. He's gone. He's uprooted his life for not that much money.
Yeah, like $40. You know, it's like, am I going to chase him to Mexico for $40?
Well, I'd also be impressed if they're uprooting their life for $40. If that's the case, then you know what? They deserve it.
A lot of money in Mexico, right?
Yeah.
It goes a long way.
But, to me, my feeling on it would be like, if say we'd won like 20,000, you would have, if I were her, you'd been like, I hope they're going to give me like $500, and that $500 versus the like 20,000, the bad karma and worrying about them chasing after me, it's not worth it. Whereas if it was 100,000 plus, at that point I'd be like, all right, let's go for it. And if they want to take me on, I have the money to pay my legal fees. Like, I can dedicate 10,000 of this to a decent lawyer, and we can see how committed they are to trying to prove that they were illegally running like a proxy gambling competition through me.
So it would have been illegal what you were doing.
No, you're allowed to have a proxy.
You're allowed to have a proxy, but you do need to
Like register
declare your
proxy,
proxy, register them, and we didn't register them. So like the casino actually has a policy in place for this because they know that there will be people who join the competition who can't be in Vegas every weekend for 17 weeks. So they do have a policy in place that a proxy can submit your picks for you, but you need to register yourself and then say like, Sam is going to be my proxy. But what we did was we just gave her the money. I mean, to be honest with you, if she wanted to rip us off, she should have ripped us off when we sent her the money in the first place.
The initial point of trust would have been the point. Yeah. So it sounds like we're just going to have to do it ourselves. We're going to have to do a Big Chill podcast in Vegas for that weekend.
We're going to have to move there for 17 weeks.
No, why can't we just pay a proxy after we've registered?
No, we're gonna bank on the fact that we're gonna win the million. Imagine the stories.
Just loans.
Imagine
just
the
get
stories.
loans.
17 weeks. In Vegas.
17 weeks in Vegas, just a story of us on a podcast racking up credit card and loan debt because it's like this is
either
irrelevant.
way. Just think about it. Either way, there's like a book deal coming out of this. Like even the title, 17 Weeks in Vegas, it's not bad, right? It could be.
I'm sure
get
now
like James Franco to be in it. It could be like that 137 hours or whatever that movie he was in. At some point, one of us is going to have to lose a limb just to seal the deal on the book deal.
It's 127 hours, Eddie. Don't give him those extra 10 hours. He didn't earn them.
Really?
Well, we'll make him do the extra 10.
So, all right. So I have right now, I'm looking at the leaderboard for the Super Contest through 6 weeks. How many points do you think the leader has? So a tie gets you half a point.
So it's out of a potential 30 points, right?
Yep.
30 games, okay.
It's still five picks.
Yep.
I would say 27 for the leader.
Wow. It's 25.
I tell you what, just get me doing the first 2 weeks and we'll be right up there.
Yeah. Sam's picks count for like the first 3 weeks and then we just stop listening to them.
Yeah. I mean, if I had, it would be an interesting one to think if we look at picks we've all agreed on to see what our record would be.
This week would not be good.
We'll do that next week.
Scrap last week.
Going into next week, I'll give us the stats on like when we all agree on a game. What's the percentage?
Okay. So let's get right into our picks then.
Yeah. So week 7. Friday night football, Thursday night football's back, Friday morning football. And it's another belter. I mean, they've really served up some good early games, haven't they?
I should preface this by saying, and Frank won't know this right now, but he'll know this historically. It's one of my favorite weeks of the year, which is when the clocks have moved in the US, but they haven't moved yet in Europe. And all the games start 1 hour earlier. And it's my favorite week.
Wait, the clock's moved in the States? Well, Arizona doesn't follow daylight savings time, so.
Did you wonder why you were late for all of your meetings?
Yeah.
In the rest
I don't think they've stepped back, have they?
I think Sunday morning they will have moved.
Oh, Sunday morning. Okay. I was gonna say they haven't done it yet.
Yeah. And we're next week, aren't we?
Yeah. So like every game starts that 1 hour earlier for both of us. So like kicking off at 6 for me on a Sunday instead of kicking off at 7.
So first up, Frank, you want to go first? You got the Giants at the Eagles, and the Eagles 4.5 favorites.
Eagles are 4.5 favorites. This is tough. The Giants, like I've said the past few weeks, they're keeping games close. They kept the Rams close. They kept the Cowboys close. They beat the Redskins, albeit the Redskins, oh, Jesus. I even recognize it, and you guys didn't even recognize it.
We don't need to anymore. We can just look at you disapprovingly.
They beat Washington,
and then you blasphemed to even make it even worse. So you offended both our liberal listeners and our conservative listeners in the space of 5 seconds.
But Washington did have that 2-point conversion that they could have scored to win the game. So that was also a close one. The issue with the Eagles is Eddie likes to say the Niners are decimated by injuries. But if I had heard the stat correctly, last week, besides Carson Wentz, the only week 1 starter that was still playing was Kelsey, their O-lineman. Everyone else on their offense is a replacement, and they're not getting many of that back.
But I thought that going into week 1, they had a lot of injuries. So how does that – I'm not doubting that they still have more injuries, but how does this line up? Do you have people who've returned and then they're like, well, technically he wasn't a week 1 starter?
Yeah, I don't know. But, well, I mean, you at least know most of their skill players are out. Ertz is out. Sanders is out. Their top receivers are out, although you have Fogelham or whatever the hell his name is, who's doing really well for them. But they don't look very good. I mean, they were getting smoked by the Ravens and then played one really good quarter to come back. So keeping up with all that, I think the Eagles can win this. And I think they need to win this more than the Giants need to win this. If the Giants still believe they're going to make the playoffs, then they're living in a fantasy land, because they're not. The Eagles might still be able to make the playoffs in the NFC East. So I'm going to pick the Eagles to win, but I'm going to pick the Giants to cover. I think they'll keep it close. Slightly threading a needle.
Yeah, I mean, really threading the needle.
It's 4.5. I mean, that's a decent amount.
It's not a huge amount. Yeah, to me, look, the Eagles kind of worry me. They're sort of inconsistent. Obviously, they've got injury problems. I wouldn't put it this way. If we were doing the Vegas Super Contest, there's no way this selection would be going into my 5. But I see very few things to really like about the Giants. I think you can count on Daniel Jones to have 1 or 2 really bad plays. So I'm going to take the Eagles to win.
Just 1 or 2?
Well, big bad plays though, right? Not just, oh, he fumbled the snap and recovered it. I mean, like, oh, we're driving down the field and he's just turned the ball over.
A few Danny Pennies.
Exactly. So I'm going to take, the Eagles to win and the Eagles to cover the spread.
Yeah, I think what you said, like in this one, it's just whatever bad team wins, but I'd rather take an inconsistent team over just what is a terminally pretty bad team. I mean, when you look at the stats of them, like, was it Daniel Jones has thrown like 3 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Wentz has thrown 9 already, and in the previous 2 seasons through 7. So they're both pretty bad. Offensively, both pretty bad. Defensively, inconsistent for the Eagles, but bad for the Giants. So I think the Eagles will win, and I'd take them to cover as well, the 4.5. Bills are the Jets. Bills are 12-point favorites.
Yeah, I mean, Frank might be planning on this one, but right, my good rule is take the good team after a loss. So definitely take the good team after consecutive losses. So my confidence in the Bills, in some respects, just on that fact, could not be higher. I'm kind of surprised at how low this spread is, to be perfectly honest with you.
It's actually gone lower. I saw it at like 12.5. So seemingly there's some interest in the Jets money-wise, 0.5 point wide.
Yeah. I mean, if you'd made me guess, I would have genuinely expected this spread to be around 15 points. So based on that fact, I have to take the Bills to cover. 12 points is a lot, but still, I mean, the Jets don't do anything well, and there's kind of some semi-reports coming out from their team that they may actually be tanking, which can be the only explanation for why Adam Gase is still employed.
I'm with Eddie on this one. So the Jets have lost all 6 of their games by at least 9 points. So when you factor that in, that's probably why I think the spread is even further out. I think it probably should have been about 10, but I've seen it 13, even 14 in some places already now. I'll still take the Bills. I mean, exactly what Eddie said. Pick a team, after a good team after a loss, especially after 2 losses, and especially when the 2 losses are to Kansas City and Tennessee, who are combined 9-1, 10-1. So those are two great teams, and the Jets just got blown out and humiliated against the Miami Dolphins, which, I mean, they're an average team, but still, I mean, that was pathetic performance by the Jets. So I don't know. I can't see the Jets turning this around. This is also my survivor pick, which interestingly, I almost forgot to put in, Eddie, because now that you're out, not to knock on you, but now that you're out, it wasn't in my head because normally I ask you on Wednesday night. So I've made it in with about 5 minutes to spare. So that was my pick.
That would have been the most frank way for you to get knocked out.
Well, it would have went to my pick for last week, which is the Dolphins, but the Dolphins aren't playing this week, right? They have a bye.
Yeah,
they do.
So then I think I would have lost. Now that would have been a way to lose.
So you just would have lost. You wouldn't have had like somehow deferred from the Dolphins to like the team previous or something like that. You just would have lost.
I don't know, because we received an email last week that was pretty aggressive in the fact that if you have a team that doesn't play because of COVID and you don't switch your team, you're automatically out because you didn't pick a team for that week. So I'm assuming the only thing they say is if you don't put in a pick, they'll take last week's pick as your team. So if last week's pick was the Dolphins and they don't play a game, I think I would have lost. That would have been the shittiest way ever to lose.
Yeah, that would have been shitty. That would have been really bad. But
just even shittier is going to be when the Jets beat the Bills this week.
Yeah. I mean, I agreed more with Eddie on this one, that when I saw the 12, I was actually pretty surprised. I think when I looked at the Jets scoring, they had done, I think it's saying like 75 points against like 180 odd conceded or like given up. It's pretty pathetic. Everything's pathetic. And I think a gassed up Josh Allen after 2 defeats will completely tear them apart. So yeah, I think it's a pretty easy one to go Bills in the 12. So slightly more interesting game. Panthers at the Saints, and the Saints are 7-point favorites.
Oh, I'll take this one. So only once this year have the Panthers actually lost by more than 7. And New Orleans has only once beat a team by more than 7 this year. So solely based off of that, I'm going to take the Panthers to cover, but I will take the Saints to win. I think the Saints will need this win to keep up the pace to make the playoffs, but all season they have not really impressed me, and they're kind of just scraping by, and this is another game I can see them just scraping by, maybe even scoring on the last drive to win it.
Yeah, this is one of those games for me as well. I saw that kind of stat, but also the Panthers' loss to the Bears wasn't fantastic, so I expect somewhat of a rebound. And the thing is, I think Brees and co are better than the Panthers, but I don't think they're 7-point better. And so for me, it just looked like a Saints win and to cover as well. A Saints win, but the Panthers to cover the 7. So, Eddie, are you completing the set with us, or are you going differently?
I'm going to disagree with you, and I'm going to take the Saints to win and the Saints to cover. I have been a Panthers doubter all season, and I am not going to stop that.
But haven't you been a Brees doubter as well?
I have been a Brees doubter. I guess the one advantage here too, right, is not I'm a big believer in this, but this is obviously Terry Bridgewater coming back to the Saints, right? He filled in for Brees when he was injured.
Ooh.
So you have that interesting twist. So I don't know who that helps more. I don't know if that gives the Saints some insight into Bridgewater, or if that allows Bridgewater to maybe tell the Panthers some things about the Saints, although you'd assume by now, kind of given the fact that the Saints have had the same head coach and the same quarterback for a long time, it's not like Terry Bridgewater is going to be able to give them insights into stuff that they haven't already picked up on.
Did you just call him Terry Bridgewater?
Yes. Yeah.
You don't like the name Teddy?
No.
He just sounds like a really basic British person when you call him that.
Yeah, it does.
Terry is a very
he's currently
British
playing
name.
for Norwich as a right back.
That is actually the Bridgewater part too. Reminds me of Drinkwater.
Yeah. Now here's the interesting one. You want to like fun fact for this matchup. They've played each other 50 times in the history of the NFL, and the overall score is 115 for New Orleans to 1097 for the Panthers. So an incredibly close 50. So 1,115 to 1,097. Incredibly close 50 game heads up against each other.
But not this one, according to you. Do you think it's going to be close to the 7, or are you expecting a bit more of a blowout than that?
I'm going to say double digits. So I would say I think
you're going to say double D's
by 10. Double D's.
Double D's on Brees.
Drew Brees just breaking out the double D's for this one.
That would be a hell of a post-match story, right? Just to see Drew Brees rip his top off and just hang out a pair of double D's.
It would explain why he can't throw very well anymore. Sorry, guys, I've lost some arm strength. My tits get in the way now.
I've got to wear this enormous sports bra to hold these bad boys in.
Yeah, and my back is killing me.
It's so much back issues.
It's not me aging. It's this really unnecessary cosmetic surgery we had in the offseason. But you also want to know why I trust the double digits? Of the 50 games that they've played against each other, 25 of them have been decided by double digits. So history would say I've got a 50-50 chance.
One way or the other.
Okay.
Yes.
Eddie's on double D's on Breeze. Fine.
So a 25% chance, I guess. I will say, so I have just, before we move on to the next game, I have very quickly added up what our record is in games in which we all agree with each other. So we have agreed with each other 37 times through the first few weeks.
Okay.
And of those 37 times, we have been correct 20 times.
Oof.
We were doing really well the first 4 weeks. We were 17-9. So I'll let you figure it out what's happened the past 2 weeks.
Wow. Actually, that's not bad though. Then
great.
Yeah. Oof. Okay.
Yeah, it just means we've only had three right in the last 2 weeks that we've
there's got to be some painful correlation there with me declining as well.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, looking back through the records quickly, it uncovered one clerical error, which is that we'd marked Sam wrong on a game that he was actually right on. So your against the spread records are no longer tied.
Scandal.
Vindicated.
Which game was it?
Frank, it was a Bucks game. Bucks against, I can't remember who. I'd have to look back, but it was one where the Bucks won, but they didn't cover the spread, and both Frank and I had thought that they would cover the spread, and you hadn't. And I probably had just seen the Bucks, and I marked it all wrong. And then looking back, obviously, when I then saw we agreed, I saw that you actually hadn't taken them to cover. And so, Frank is now firmly in last place.
All right, I'm doing this next time. Can't be having that. Can't be having clerical errors, Eddie.
Sorry.
You will be. All right. Browns at the Bengals, and the Browns are 3-point favorites. So are we going to see some more OBJ magic, whatever that looks like in terms of shit or meltdowns? What are we seeing here?
Well, by OBJ magic, do you mean handing out money to college players and then getting a 2-year ban from LSU? Because I loved that. He was so annoying that game. So the story is LSU won a national championship and he went to LSU. 5 years before the championship. So he's now just, like an alumni, and he was on the sidelines and he was clearly drunk or something, high, drunk, something. Like he was way more annoying than his normal self.
Some people get high right off like actual batshit.
I know where this is going.
So maybe he just, he'd had some pre-game romances with a particularly fruity lady, and he was just, the fumes had just gone straight to his head.
Maybe because it was I was gonna say it was at a college town, but it was actually at a major stadium. I'd say maybe he stopped by like a sorority and got the whole house to lay down on him. He got a sorority dump. Anyway, getting back to the story. He was then, after, as soon as they won, he was on the field with the players, which is really annoying because he's obviously a person who's been criticized for loving the spotlight. And now he's back at a college game being like the center of attention after they win a national championship that he's been removed from this team for 5 years. It's not like some of the guys had played with him. No one's even played with him at LSU at this point. And he was handing out, like he had wads of hundreds, and he was going up to the players after they had won and like slapping the money into their hands and like shaking their hands and giving them the money. And then also even past this, he was in the locker room and was like being the center of attention in the locker room, being super, super drunk. He like, didn't he like punch a police officer or push a police officer or something? There was some altercation with a police officer, whatever. So he then was criticized for handing out money to college athletes, which is illegal. And he was like, no, it's fake money. It was like a joke. You guys take everything so seriously. Like, you're always out to get me. And then Joe Burrow was on a Barstool podcast, and he goes, no, it was definitely real money. He's like, I have the money. It was like $3,000 in cash he gave me. So,
which you have to say, crappy move by like old sweet mouth Joe Burrow became big mouth Joe Burrow and really threw OBJ under the bus here.
Well, so maybe Joe Burrow's anti-shit.
Throw him in the
Joe Burrow doesn't take shit from anyone, Eddie. Does not take shit from anyone.
So this is the other spin, right? This is the OBJ revenge game.
So then he, LSU, the shitty thing is that they banned him for 2 years, and they're taking away football scholarships. But that part actually has nothing to do with OBJ, because they're also under an intense investigation for like bribery of athletes and their families and things like that. And OBJ kind of got lumped into this, but he did get a 2-year ban from ever going to LSU games.
So this is where you're wrong, right? Maybe OBJ felt guilty about taking payments when he was an LSU athlete, and he was just trying to give the money back. Did you ever think about it? Did you ever think about it that way, Frank?
Yeah, what a hero.
What a hero.
He was overwhelmed by the guilt, and he thought, you know what, I gotta do what I can to put this money back into the right hands. So that was all he was doing. He was just returning loans, quote unquote loans, that he'd been given when he was an LSU athlete / recruit.
Yeah. Did you also see? A big OBJ week. Did you also see his comments on COVID and how like COVID can't infect him because COVID wants nothing to do with him and he want nothing to do with COVID. It was like his quote or something like that.
I'm glad you articulated it the way it was written as well, because otherwise I would have had no idea.
Yeah.
In fairness, for a man that attitude doesn't surprise me from a man who so willingly exposes himself to so much bacteria. You know, it would be kind of weird for him to be asking for people to shit on him, but then for him to be scared about a virus.
And actually, I was almost dead on with the quote. The quote was, no, not in an arrogant way. I don't think COVID can get to me. I don't think it's going to enter this body. I don't want no parts of it. It don't want no parts of me. I think it's a mutual respect. And you would listen to that and think, oh, he's probably joking. That's like clearly a joke that just didn't catch on. But then when you watch the interview, it didn't really seem sarcastic or joking. It seemed pretty serious.
I think what I like in that is the mutual respect. Somehow he has heard from COVID before, and the COVID only has respect for OBJ.
Yeah.
COVID-18 tried to take him down. He wanted no part of it.
So what's the better quote, that one or the Kirk Cousins, if I die, I die?
I mean, that's just literal.
Yeah, I think the Kirk Cousins quote and take was worse.
Yeah, I think so too. I think this is just Odell kind of being kind of stupid. Yeah.
I mean,
so
what we got? We got the battle of the AFC North. What, rookies?
The battle for Ohio.
The battle for Ohio. I mean, it's got to be disheartening for the Bengals, right? You know, they have all these competitive. That's terrible.
You didn't get it right.
Even I know that I don't think it's that.
It's just saying the 4 letters of Ohio. It's not Ohio.
I mean, that could catch on, you know, with the.
Well, you know what, Eddie?
Okay.
I'm not a true blue Ohio State fan like you are. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm really on board. They're coming back this weekend. Huge, exciting.
I know. I'm pretty pumped.
So I mean, it's got to be disheartening for the Bengals, right? You have all these competitive losses and wins, and then you get blown out by the Ravens, and then you surrender a huge lead against the Colts. I'm not so sure. I've liked the Bengals. They're one of my more.
He's betraying the sweet mouth of Joe Burrow.
I tell you what the problem was. If the spread was a little bit higher, and I'm talking, so the spread at the moment is 3. So they got the Browns to win by 3. Or, the spread is 3. If it was even 4 or 4.5, I'd probably consider the Bengals covering, because I think they will return to this competitive losing, basically, because I think the Browns will win. It's just that 3 isn't enough for me to say that they'll cover, but I do think it will be close. So, I mean, for me, I just think as much as the Browns look worse against the Steelers over the past 2 games, I just have lost a bit of heart in the Bengals, and I'm going to take the Browns, but I'm not happy about the fact that I don't think they'll cover. I think the Browns will cover, but I'm pretty worried about the fact that I think the Bengals will be really close with this one.
That's fair. I agree with you. If the spread was higher, I would be tempted to take the Bengals with the points because they have shown themselves to be capable and competent. But this almost falls into a must-win category for the Browns if they are going to, given the strength of their division, if they are going to be competitive for the playoffs. And I'm not seeing that much I really like that about the Bengals this season. So it's worth noting the Browns are scoring an average of 31.2 points per game. And the Bengals so far are scoring an average of 20.4 points per game. Now, obviously, early enough in the season that can be skewed by one bad performance, but that still makes me confident enough to think that the Browns will win and cover this spread. Also, I think, too, the Bengals haven't been able to protect Joe Burrow particularly well, and I don't think this is a game that their line could really be an issue here because definitely the Browns have the defensive rushers necessary to put him under pressure. So I think that could be a real issue for the entire length of the game.
This one is tough for me. I really, really, really want to bet against the Browns. I just don't know if I can. So they've already played. They played in week 1, and the Browns won that pretty comfortably. I mean, they only won 35-30, but they were pretty much always in control that game. They always had the lead, I think, from the start. Or
yeah, and
then,
the Bengals scored that late touchdown, which made
like
the
40
score
seconds.
look that made the score look really different. They covered the spread in the final minute, so that was realistically like a double digits win. That kind of doesn't look that
double D's.
Double D's.
A double D's win. Who would look better with double D's, Joe Burrow or Drew Brees?
Drew Brees, he's a man of experience and class. I think double D's are all on him. I think he'll wear them well.
See, that's just because Sam doesn't want to have his image of Joe Burrow ruined by him having breasts. So he doesn't want to picture him becoming more feminine. So he's got to be like, no. There's no way Joe Burrow would ever have breasts. Okay?
So, going off of that, where they were leading by double D's, you kind of have to think, how have both those teams changed since week 1? The Bengals have gotten better just because Joe Burrow is getting more comfortable. And the Browns, Chubb is still injured, right? Mayfield could be dead. I don't know.
Mayfield might not be playing. It's not 100% confirmed that he'll be playing, which would be.
And even when he played hurt last week, it wasn't a great performance. So, I mean, all of this is kind of. I'm gonna go Bengals.
You're gonna be worried when Case Keenum lines up under center on Sunday.
Actually, is it Case Keenum? Maybe I'll be more worried about Case Keenum than Baker Mayfield.
I think Case Keenum is the one who came on. They also have Drew Stanton, I think. So
it was Keenum.
So it's either Stanton or Keenum.
Yeah, give me the Bengals. Was it? Wait, it's 3?
3. Bam.
3 points. Yeah.
Do I thread a needle?
No, not on a spread.
I'll go Bengals. Fold.
Okay. Next up, Cowboys at Washington, and Cowboys are 1-point favorites, so basically a toss-up.
Yeah, this is a tough one, right? I was so confident in the Cowboys going into Monday night, and then what I failed to realize is that when Dak Prescott broke his ankle, Ezekiel Elliott also broke all of his fingers. So, like, if I'd known that bit of information, my confidence in the Cowboys would have dissipated. So I'm going to take the Cowboys again. I'm going to assume that they cannot have everything go wrong in quite the same fashion that it went wrong on Monday night. Kind of worrying that you're getting the reports coming out from players saying that they have no faith in the coaching staff. At the same time, they are anonymous sources saying that they don't have faith. So I have no idea who it is within the team. Like, I don't really care if it's the punter.
Do you think it's Mike McCarthy saying that the players have no faith in Mike McCarthy?
Yeah. Just going really third person on us.
I think.
But yeah, I didn't.
And the thing is, though, it's Andy Dalton, right? Is stepping up, so it's hardly the worst backup you've got for Prescott, and the Cowboys have still got all these weapons that are.
Also, to be fair, Andy Dalton didn't play that badly in the Monday night game. He literally got killed by the fact that Ezekiel Elliott turned the ball over on consecutive possessions, and from that moment on, they were chasing the game. Also, Elliott's fumble issues took him out of the game for a while he sort of sorted his head out or whatever it was he was doing, reminding himself of his starring role in the Star Wars movies. And
I was also going to drop an Ewok joke.
Yeah. Maybe last night he realized that his planet had likely been destroyed, but he was like, I don't want to be too critical of Stanton then. Also, even on defensively, they had a couple of opportunities to turn the ball over and didn't. So, it looks bad for him coming in for a team that was scoring points for fun and then to not really put any points up. But I don't think it was really his fault. So I'm going to give the Cowboys one more chance this week just because Washington are awful. And if you're going to get an easy win, it's I almost feel like Washington kind of tricked us because they were sort of pretty decent in week 1. And I think that convinced everyone that they aren't as bad as they are. I feel this way about Washington and the Jags, that they had a couple early weeks where they were sort of competent. And so for the time being, that kind of has stuck in everyone's heads. So we still, when we think about them, don't think about them in the same way as the Jets, as it's just a walking loss. But fundamentally, when you watch them now, I don't see a huge difference between Washington and the Jets right now. So I'm going to take the Cowboys.
Yeah. The thing for me as well is that Washington just don't put points up. I think they've scored the third least in the NFL. So what you're saying is that even with all this offensive transformation that the Cowboys are going to have with Dalton, that they've still got the resources to score. They were scoring freely at maybe about 34 a game or something like that. So even if that reduces, are you really saying that Washington are getting near late 20s? I mean, let's just go with that. I don't think so. I don't think they're coming near it. So for me, the Cowboys look a pretty good bet for this one. I still think they'll be pretty good even with the kind of offensive changes that they go through. So.
Yeah, I mean, Washington has not scored over 20 points this season. 20 points is their maximum so far through their 5 games.
Yeah, so if you're saying that the Cowboys are coming even down from their sky-high 34s, I mean, even if they go down by 10, it doesn't matter against the Reds. Washington, in my opinion. I know, but at least, against Reading, the Washington Reddings. So, yeah, I'm going Cowboys.
Who would have thought that the guy who just a week ago had a anti-trans in sports rants would now be looking like the most woke member of this podcast?
Yeah. So you're right. The Cowboys do score a lot of points, but they only scored 10 since Dak's been out this last game. So whether they can still score 30 consistently without Dak is a question mark. But I agree. I still think they're going to – I don't think the Washington football team can score enough points, even if it's only 20 points. The only issue I have with this game is the Cowboys' offensive line looks terrible, and you have a pretty aggressive defensive front for Washington. So I could see Dalton getting smacked around a little bit, but I don't see the Washington football team scoring enough to keep up with Dallas. So I'll take the Cowboys to win and to cover, but I think it'll be a little closer. It's not going to be a double D's.
Okay. So you're not going to thread the needle and do Washington cover the one?
No. Although Andy Dalton is the type of guy who could have natural double D's with his unathletic body, I do not think this will be a double D game.
Also worth saying, there was a report that came out today, which will be disappointing for Frank to hear, where sources within the Washington sort of higher ups said that it is likely that they are keeping the team name Washington Football Team.
Nice.
Well, permanently or just moving into next season as well?
I think they were mainly confirming it for next year, but you'd have to imagine if you have it for 2 seasons, why would you then change it?
The Washington FT?
Yeah.
If you're keeping it next year, yeah, they should get sponsored by the Financial Times. Be perfect.
But that's kind of true, isn't it, right? At some point, you've got to print T-shirts, print merchandise, print everything, have sponsors. You can't have that indifference about a name. So it kind of makes sense that at some point they're just going to have to make a decision early.
Yeah, they got to register stuff. They need domain names. They need tons of it's months of planning to going into this. They will know by now. If they're saying now that they are likely to be keeping it, it means they're keeping it, because it's already basically November, and you'd fundamentally need to have everything in place by May. So
why don't they go super patriotic and call themselves the Red, White, and Blue Skins?
And then they'd be anti what was that James Cameron movie? Anti-Avatars.
Or just really cold Redskins.
Or maybe that's the move. Maybe that's the move. They could do like the Toronto Raptors, who only call themselves that basically because of the popularity of Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And
is that a true story? Wow.
Yeah. Fundamentally, what was more like Jurassic Park was representative of the popularity of dinosaurs at the time. So they were like, look, it's kind of in the zeitgeist. Let's go for that name. So maybe that's what they should do. They should wait. They should see whatever the summer blockbuster is this upcoming year, and then just steal that name. And then they'll just be like the Washington James Bonds or something.
Yeah, it's a shame they can't go for Washington Independence for Independence.
The Washington 007s. How good would that be?
The Washington Black Widows or the Washington Black Panther 2?
Yeah, I mean, Black Panther would be the move. Although I would what else?
Now, would that be called out for being racist?
Probably if it was them, yeah. Especially because they just shortened it, so it would just be the Washington Blacks all the time.
If only a sequel to Last of the Mohegans was coming out, it would be the most amazing thing ever. The Washington Mohegans. Oh, that would be amazing.
All right. Lions at the Falcons. Falcons 2.5-point favorites.
I'll take this one. I'm going to stick with my Lions. I'm going to go Lions to win and with the points.
So predictable.
Sometimes predictability is the best move. The Falcons did look obviously better. New coach, maybe that coaching change helped a little bit, but I'll stick with the Lions. I think this is their chance to turn around and go 500.
Is that considered turning around?
Yeah.
If they can just get back to, if they can return to the definition of mediocrity, that's like season back on track.
Yep.
I saw a fun stat about this one, that until last week, where the Lions beat the Jags and the Falcons had a good game against the Vikings, that these two teams would have faced off with a combined giving up points of 64 a game, which would have been an NFL record for two teams facing up against each other. So, but their defenses actually turned up last week, right, and did something.
Yeah.
Great answer, Eddie.
No, I mean, this is such a hard game to predict because they're just two like quite bad teams. I'm going to take the Falcons. I think Matt Ryan officially replaced, you know, his win against the Vikings last week meant that he officially took IV status in my body. So this week it's the Matty Ice IV I'm gonna have to hook myself up to.
Too bad you still had the Cousins IV hooked up, and now you have terminal cancer in your entire body from that performance.
Well, no, I had both hooked up, right? Because I'd had the Matty Ice IV before, so now I just look like a stroke victim. The right-hand side of my body has died.
So my assumption is that they're covering the 2.5, or do you want to thread that needle?
No, I'm not going to pull a Frank. I'm going to take them to cover that.
What was it last week? They picked Kirk Cousins like 3 times, the Falcons defense, I think. And I think that was probably the first sign of life that I saw within that team and or within a defense anyway. So I think the offense will take some confidence from a better defensive performance against the Vikings. So I think it's the first time actually this season that I have taken the Falcons to win a game. So, I'm taking them to win and to cover.
Nice. So. At least that's one I'll have up on both you guys.
Yeah. Wow. Considering my record at the moment, that's probably a fair statement. All right. Aaron Rodgers against the Texans. Packers are 3.5-point favorites.
This is a tough one. When you consider the Packers did not look good after they went up 10-0 in the game against the Bucs. And the Texans, I mean, they've had a rough schedule. I mean, week in and week out, they're playing a good team, and they won 2 weeks ago.
Hold on a second. We talking about the same? They played the Vikings, the Jags, and the Titans in their last 3 games. Okay, the Titans might be legit, but the Vikings and the Jags. They had the rocky start because they played the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Steelers in the opening 3 games.
Yeah,
and you might argue that those are the 3 best teams in the league. That is possible, although you wouldn't, right? Because
the Steelers
are terrible. So,
but standing wise, they've played probably the 4 highest teams in the NFL. So that's 4 out of their 5 losses are to really good teams.
It helps when 4 of those 5 teams are playing against a team that's just handing out wins.
They're not handing out wins. I mean, Pittsburgh, they played really well. They could have they had any chance to win that game, lost by a touchdown. Tennessee, they lost in overtime. I mean, they're playing these good teams well. So they're not obviously of that caliber, but I think they're a caliber right below. They could be an 8-8, 9-7 team, but unfortunately, when you play for the best teams to start off, your record is going to be pretty shitty. So I have to go with Eddie's philosophy on this one again. Pick the good team after the loss. And
I like that this has become a podcast philosophy. I do appreciate the fact.
I'll stick with Green Bay, especially because Rodgers, I sent you guys that link about some of the weird stories about Rodgers during his playing career. He seems just like a nut. And this is the type of thing that coming off a bad game like that, he has to be pretty motivated and pretty pissed off. So I think he's going to come out hot this game. Maybe it'll be a shootout, which would be pretty good to watch, a little Rodgers versus Watson. But I'll pick Green Bay to win. Is it 3.5?
Yeah.
I'll take Houston with the points.
Okay. My,
indeed. So for me,
Packers to win in overtime with a field goal.
The thing that got me right, I take that Packers game, and you've got to take it as a bit of a freak for now, haven't you? I mean, considering the consistency beforehand and how good Rodgers looked, you have to just write that off. So let's just say the Packers get up to what they were doing for the previous games. They're going up against the team that just let in 600 yards against the Titans. And I think if Rodgers gets anywhere back to what he was doing in the first quarter of the Bucs game or every game before, which is fair to say, I see this being a Packers win. And I like the 3.5 spread as well. So for that reason, I'm taking the Packers and to cover.
Yeah, I'm going to stick to obviously my philosophy, the podcast philosophy, the good team after a loss. So I'm taking the Packers. I'm not going to consider taking a team to not cover such a small spread if I feel pretty good about them winning. For now, I'm just going to throw that last week's game out as an aberration and assume that the Packers, whilst I don't think they are necessarily as good as they may have looked in the first few weeks, they are certainly significantly better than the Texans, and they're one of the, say, 10 best teams in the league for sure. So got to assume this is a bounce back win for them.
Yeah. Game of the week. Rearranged. Steelers at the Titans, and they've given, or what I've locked as the spread is the Titans are 1-point favorites. So, Frank, I mean, this is a bad team against the Titans, right? This is a sure thing. That one looks a bit silly, that spread. What do you think?
This is an absolute sure thing. The Titans are coming out victorious in this one, for sure. Yeah, you've got two major injuries actually on both teams. The Titans lost their starting O-tackle, left tackle, and then Devin Bush is out for the Steelers. Both injuries out for the year. I think torn ACLs on both. So that's going to change the game plans a little bit for both teams. I mean, you have that backside tackle so important, and then you have Devin Bush who's looked great all year. Doesn't matter. The Titans are definitely the better team. Tannehill's the better quarterback. Henry's the better running back. And we're going to see this Steelers defense get exposed for at least 30 points.
Wow.
I'm full on Titans train.
That's an interesting one because the Titans offense isn't explosive. So that's a bold prediction. Both of these teams kind of tend to have relatively high time of possession. So it would surprise me to see this one be massively high scoring or for either one of them to actually blow the other one out, just because the way they both approach the game seems to kind of go against that concept.
So what would you put the over under at?
Around, I'd say low 50s, 51, 52.
I'd probably say 48, around there. 49.
It's 50.5.
But here's an interesting question for you. You may have already seen these odds though, Frank. But who has better MVP odds, seeing as we talked about Tannehill's MVP credentials? Big Ben or Ryan Tannehill?
Has to be Big Ben or Skinny Ben, surely. I mean, there's just more of a high profile around it.
Tannehill.
No, Sam's right. Big Ben is currently 22-1, and Ryan Tannehill is 33-1.
What's Derrick Henry?
40-1.
Your point, Eddie, about the kind of lots of possession. I mean, the Steelers still rank in the NFL 10th for games over 30, scoring over 30 points in a game. So when they've got the ball, even though they control it, they still score. So it's.
Oh no, I don't think I'm not meaning that as like a knock on either of their offenses. They're both obviously capable of scoring, but they're not. It's not like the Chiefs where you're going to necessarily see them have like 3 plays moving down the field quickly, like no huddle offenses where they're just in through, you look at the scoreboard and they've scored like 24 points in a quarter. Neither of them are really built for that. I know that they have big plays, like Derrick Henry has big plays, and the Steelers have wide receivers capable of making really big plays.
I mean, the Titans are second in the NFL in points per game.
Yeah, but it's so early on in the season that these are like.
It's not that early on anymore.
I mean, they've had 2 mega games, right? What is it? The Vikings and the Texans. They've had 2 40+ games, I think. I'm not saying it discredits the stats. It's just who they've played and got those big points of games.
Yeah, you'd also argue,
and they're second in yards per game as well. So second in points.
You'd also argue, except for the Bills, they've played bad defenses so far. They played the Broncos, the Jags, the Vikings, and the Texans. I'd be interested to see where those teams are ranked on yards per game given up. But I'm going to guess they're all at least in the top 10 or bottom 10, depending on how you want to think of it.
Well, I guess this is the game we're going to see against a supposedly good defense, right?
Yeah. I mean, by your standards, right, this game you should predict like 75-0, no?
Oh, wait till my bet of the week, Eddie. Don't.
Oh, good. Good to hear that.
I'm going Steelers.
Yeah, I think the Titans are good. I think the Steelers are sort of legit. So until proven otherwise, I'm going to say that they're kind of coming into this one with a better form. And I'm going to take the Steelers.
Yeah, and I think what Ben and Chase Claypool have going at the moment, what does it sound like, 7 or 8 in the last 2? They're just hitting each other well, and I think that'll continue. I don't really see it stopping. And I think the Steelers have a better defense than the Titans, so that yardage and what the Titans have going for them will be slowed down in this game. And I think, therefore, the Steelers have better outs in this game than the Titans do. So, yeah, I'm going Steelers.
I also am going to assume that the Steelers are capable of approaching this game in the way of just saying Derrick Henry's not going to beat them, which is easier said than done. And I don't mean that this is going to mean that Derrick Henry has on paper, a bad game, but a little bit like the approach you have to have with, say, the Ravens, where you have to accept that they are going to run the ball, but fundamentally, like on big plays and in big moments, it's going to be passes that actually have to beat you. I'm going to assume that the Steelers have the defensive capability of basically saying, like, look, we can't take away everything, but if Ryan Tannehill is the one who beats us, fine, we'll take it. But we're not going to just allow Derrick Henry to have a 200-yard rushing game for 3 touchdowns, and we walk off the field being like, that guy we knew we had to stop, we didn't stop.
All right. Speaking of MVPs, what are the odds on Wilson? He's favorite, right?
Russell Wilson is currently the odds-on favorite to win the MVP.
Wow, that high. Well, yeah. Actually, we talked about this last week. Everyone else kind of shot themselves in the foot over the past week with Allen and Mahomes. So
Josh Allen has kind of dropped. Josh Allen has kind of dropped completely out of the running almost. He's 25-1 now.
Yeah.
After last week, actually, Kyler Murray, who kind of brings the two teams together, Kyler Murray has put himself sort of back in the running. He's now down to 16-1. But fundamentally, when you look outside of, it looks to be between Wilson, Mahomes, Rodgers, and Lamar Jackson. I'm going to guess Big Ben throws himself right into the discussion if the Steelers beat the Titans. Because if he's unbeaten after that, it's going to be hard to not at least have him kind of on level terms with, say, Lamar Jackson or Aaron Rodgers. So that's going to be interesting to see. But everyone else, then you just have bizarre ones. Like Clyde Edwards-Helaire is 50-1. I don't know in what universe he wins MVP.
Because he had one good game last week against the Bills. I mean, not to say he's not played good all season, but
no, but you know what I mean. Like, in what universe are the Chiefs having a great season and they're going, we're not going to give it to Patrick Mahomes. We're going to give it to their running back because they weren't good before they drafted him this year. He's been the difference maker. Now here's the interesting one. Of these 4 with equal odds, who would you rather have your bet on to win MVP? All of them are at 80-1. Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson, Drew Brees, and Jared Goff.
You're talking about like this season as it's played out so far already, not like in the next season, like a whole season. Okay.
No, not in the future, because obviously, but like
Deshaun Watson for sure.
You think he's most capable of winning the MVP this year?
Yeah, because if it wasn't for Deshaun Watson, I know they're 1-5. They would be like negative.
Be 0-6. Oh my God, what a difference! Sam, if you were quarterback instead of Deshaun Watson, the Texans would have 1 more loss. Could you think about that? Could you just process
They'd have 3 forfeits. He's the only thing keeping them in those games to keep them close, even though they're still losing them. I mean, if it weren't for him, they're done. And they have a somewhat easier schedule coming up after these next, I think 1 or 2 games that they can get back maybe to a little over 500 and maybe sneak into the playoffs. And if they do, it's solely because of him.
I totally disagree with you.
I'd probably go Brees.
Well, sometimes, Eddie, you're just completely wrong, so that's fine.
I'd probably take Brees. I think the thing with the Saints, right, is they do have a route to get into like the postseason, and if they're going to do it, then you just feel like there's going to be that fairy tale Brees story behind it. I would probably take Brees.
So I can easily argue that one is he's not even the best player on the team anymore. It's Kamara, and everyone says that Kamara is carrying the Saints, and we've all said that Brees looks terrible, so they're not going to give it to Brees over Kamara. So that one's out. What's the other ones, Eddie?
Goff or Mayfield?
Goff is Mayfield. No, because I mean, there's talks already on ESPN that they should move on from Mayfield, which I think is crazy. But he hasn't even had a game that's looked of MVP level yet this year. So, and he has huge talents around him with if Nick Chubb ever comes back, I think Nick Chubb should get it over him.
That's a bold prediction. If Nick Chubb has missed several weeks, but here's what I'll say is I mean
Mayfield was benched.
Goff, or he was injured.
He was benched.
Being pulled from a game is not being benched. No, that's not the same thing.
So what do you call it when you're told to get off the field and sit on the bench?
Oh, so hold on a second. So say hypothetically the Chiefs are up by 40 points this weekend and they decide to bring off like Kelsey and Mahomes. Our spin on it is going to be Chiefs benched Mahomes.
But Mahomes doesn't sit on the bench when he gets pulled out of the games. He stands. Mayfield was sitting on that bench by himself.
So it's more literal. So it's literal benching.
He was literally benched, as Eddie would say.
Right. Okay. Oh, I'm the only one who says literally. You're correct there. I am literally the only person in the world who says literally. The reason why I would throw Watson out is because to me, the only way you could see, now I don't think any of these four has a realistic chance, but the only way I could spin it is if their team has to make the playoffs, and the Texans are not going to make the playoffs. All three of those other teams have legitimate playoff chances. I might even argue that I think all three of those other teams are going to make the playoffs. So if you have a quarterback lead you to the playoffs and potentially say run the table or close to run the table from now on and statistically perform really well, I could see their odds significantly shrinking. As I said, I think each one of them has had bad enough performances so far to kind of throw them out. Like they would have to be so incredible for the remainder of the season to really put themselves in, or have Wilson, Mahomes, Rodgers, Lamar Jackson fall off a cliff. But based on the fact that I think that all three of those teams will be in the playoffs, I'd rather take any of them over Watson, and I'd probably take Goff, because my argument would be like I could tell myself that the Rams turn into this incredibly explosive offense and that Goff is throwing like for 400 plus yards a week almost every week. Like I don't think that's going to happen, but I could convince myself at least that like there's a better than 80-1 chance of that happening.
Yeah, Goff would be the other one I could see because, again, he doesn't have much around him. And we've said this last week. The Rams are going to win and lose by Jared Goff. So if they start winning, his stats are obviously going to be pretty substantial. So I think in that case, Goff would be the winner. But for me, I still think the Texans have a backdoor shot to make the last wild card, and Watson
What planet are you living on?
I'm really not getting
wait
this.
and see.
I mean, so hold on a second. So say hypothetically we were like dismissing teams from the playoff hunt right now. Who are the teams you're throwing out? The Jets? Who else?
Maybe the Giants.
Oh, wait. So you think the Texans have a better playoff chance than the Giants?
Yeah.
That is insane.
That is the prediction. Are you putting all your money on that one?
No.
Like, I would almost argue that there is a world in which the Giants win tonight and the Cowboys lose on Sunday, and the Giants are favorites to win that division.
In no way will the Giants ever be favored to win that division.
But there's a route to it, right? You can see conceivably two games that you're looking at what the Cowboys as 1-point favorites and the Giants, I can't even remember, but
5.5 point underdogs.
There's a conceivable route to that happening very soon. If the Texans go 4-0 in the next 4 games, fine. But they need 4 or 5 more things to happen. The Giants need 1 to potentially have that looking good for them.
Sam, they barely beat the Redskins and should have lost if that idiot Kyle Allen could convert a 2-point conversion.
Beat the who?
Let's put it this way, Frank. Let's let the odds tell this story. The Giants are 15-2 to win their division, so 7.5 to 1. The Texans are 40-1 to win their division, and they have 2 teams ahead of them in that betting in the Titans.
What about wild card?
I don't have wild card odds.
No, of course you don't.
But you just
How
have
convenient.
to assume.
How convenient.
Yeah, Eddie. Why aren't you
Sorry.
just like Eddie's just written his like mental institute just odds all over the wall just so he remembers them.
He's like, do you ever see the movie The Accountant with Ben Affleck when he writes all the things on the glass walls? That's just Eddie right now. He's just got tons and tons of writing.
Yeah.
With his accounting visor on, with the kind of see-through visor.
Yeah, I mean, the Texans are currently 14th in the AFC standings. 14th.
Oh, they're right where they want to be.
Ahead of them in the wild card race, teams that currently would need the wild card in order to make it into the playoffs: the Browns, the Colts, the Raiders, the Dolphins,
better,
the Patriots,
better,
the Chargers.
better.
Are you kidding me?
Okay, so far they're the best team out of all those teams you've named. Keep going.
This is ridiculous.
Just keep going. Humor him. Or we could just talk about the Seahawks Cardinals game.
Yeah, that's all the teams above them.
Frank's clearly lost it.
And they're the best team there.
Yeah.
Admittedly, the Giants are currently bottom of the NFC standings.
And go ahead, you can read any of those teams, and I'll tell you they're not better than them.
Well, here's the thing: is they're bottom, but the reason why they have more hope is because 11th out of 16, the Cowboys at 6-2, 12 out of 16, the Eagles at 6-1, and 13th out of
6-1.
Sorry, 2-6, 1-6. Sorry, and 13th out of 16, the Washington football team with 1 win. So they are 1 win off leading their division, right? I mean, the Eagles have that tie that might end up being crucial at the end of the season. But
This Seahawks Cardinals game, right?
Sam trying to get us back on track. I won't let it happen.
Okay, all right. We'll keep talking about the tech.
No, it's fine. I'll make this simple for you. I've as you both know, I've not been a big fan of the Cardinals all season. I know that they won convincingly on Monday. I think that was kind of more down to Ezekiel Elliott and the incompetence of the Cowboys. I think the Seahawks offensively are good, so this might be a shootout just because I don't think either of their defenses are good at all. So, but if it's going to be a shootout and it's going to be high scoring, I definitely want to trust this Seahawks team, which just has weapons all around it. And then also this week, right, rumored to be interested in adding another weapon with Antonio Brown.
Yeah, supposedly Antonio Brown.
Isn't Chandler Jones out for the Cardinals as well?
Yeah.
So they've lost one of their best pass rushers against a team that scores 34 points a game. And the thing with the Cardinals, right, is like you say, the Cowboys win looked a bit different, but the one before that was the Jets. So there's not really much to go on with Murray and the Cardinals. And so I'd want to take the Seahawks here. So I'll take them to cover as well.
I'll be happy to go against you guys again. It's worth the free Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I'll go Cards to win and Cards to cover. Yeah. You know what? I can't wait to sip my Dunkin' Donuts coffee Monday afternoon while we discuss how well the Cardinals played against the Seahawks.
Here's a question for you, Frank. If I buy you a really nice coffee machine for your house and or office, and you're making yourself, the freshest, nicest, highest quality coffee in the world on a daily basis whenever you want, would you still go and pick up your Dunkin' Donuts coffee?
Is it an espresso machine or just like a really good filter coffee?
Is there such thing as a really good filtered coffee machine?
It's hardly the freshest if it's filtered.
Yeah, I'm talking about like a full barista style espresso machine.
Do I also get a barista on call with it?
No.
Yeah.
Oof.
Usually the freshest coffee is the one that's been ground and freeze dried.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to have to make it yourself. But you know what they say, when you do something for yourself, it tastes better.
Is that what they say?
No, I actually don't think it is.
When you do it for yourself, you just feel poor, I think is the quote. Why do it yourself when you have someone else do it for you with money?
I mean, that's the quote, right?
That's the quote.
Really catchy quote.
I would take this espresso machine and never get Dunkin' Donuts again.
Okay, good to know.
I mean, I really get
Because
Dunkin'
otherwise,
anyway.
otherwise, when I make my millions, I was just going to buy you like a lifetime pass to Dunkin' Donuts, like a Dunkin' Donuts black card. I'll get you
after he had bought the coffee machine with his own money.
Yeah, exactly.
But can I get sandwiches with that card as well?
No, I'll specify. I'll be like, never let this guy have anything other than coffee. I don't care if he wants another drink. It doesn't matter. He pays for that. Even though this card is getting him unlimited everything, no.
You can have the food, but it's ground down like the coffee is.
You throw this in, right? Because one of the few companies that I know really does this kind of thing is Chipotle, who give that like Chipotle VIP card to celebrities. So this is just going to be my opportunity in case anyone from Chipotle is listening. I personally love Chipotle and would love to be able to get the Chipotle burrito on a daily basis for free. I would take advantage of it, and I tweet about it all the time. And even the horrific side effects of the E. coli I might get, or just the disgusting things it would do to my bowels, would be worth it for the delicious burrito I'd have on a daily basis.
I did think of what your bathroom would look like after daily consumption of a burrito.
Well, the upside would be, right, is that I'd have a second career. I'd quit this podcast to just do like fecal Jackson Pollocks.
How much would OBJ pay for that?
Oh, he'd be my biggest
burrito shit. Oh.
You guys, I would be retiring. I'd be like quitting my job, quitting this podcast, and I'd be like, no, guys, I'm selling these paintings for like $250,000 a pop. And he'd be like, who on earth is buying these? And I'd be like, I just have one really wealthy benefactor. OBJ would be my Medici.
No, you're his shitty daddy. Oh man, I'm crushing these OBJ jokes.
Nothing is better than how self-satisfied you are when you make something that pleases you.
Oh, that's turned around my week.
Wow, that must have been
a slow week. Yeah, it's a slow week.
I mean, I guess there's two spins on it. One, if that's the best thing in your week, bad week. Two, if it takes something that small to turn your week around, not that bad of a week.
All right. Jaguars at the Chargers, and the Chargers are 7-point favorites.
This is a tough one for me because I don't have that much faith in the Chargers. At the same time, I kind of did earlier in the podcast talk about how I think the Jags are worse than most people think they are. But I'm definitely taking the Chargers to win. That much I feel confident about. But the 7 points feels just about right. And I think also the other thing I need to work out is that so far, with the exception of the Steelers, who were 1 point underdogs, I have taken every favorite to cover the spread. So at some point I got to start thinking about it.
It could be that week.
It could be that week, but at some point I got to be thinking about the fact that statistically this is unlikely. So, no, it's going to be that week. I'm going to take the Chargers minus. No, I'm not. I'm going to take the Jag. No, I am. I'm going to take the Chargers. I'm going to take the Chargers minus 7.
I think whatever I write down now is going to be wrong because I've got no idea.
Did that Kirk Cousins IV just actually cause you to have a stroke?
It just expired. It just ran out. The last final drifts came into me, so to speak.
I'll keep it easy. Eddie talked last week about games.
Wait. Sorry, Frank. It's Eddie. What's going on? Are the Jags covering?
The Chargers are covering the spread.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Eddie talked about last week games that he'll definitely not put on his television to watch. This is one of those. As much as I am a Herbert fan, I have no desire to watch this game. The only stat I have here is the Jaguars have lost their last 4 games by at least 8 points. So I'll stick with that trend, and I'll take the Chargers to win and the Chargers to cover.
I think I saw a good stat that was since the start of the 2019 season, the Chargers have lost 13. So 13 of the games they lost, I think they've lost about 15 or 16 in total. All 13 of them have been by 1 score or less. And so For me, I think the Chargers are in a bit of a rut at the moment, right? I just think that they are a little bit better. They're just in a little bit of a rut with like Justin Herbert and the changes they went through at the start. So they're better than the Jags. So I'm taking the Chargers to win. I'm going to take them to cover as well. I just think the Jags are pretty bad, and I just don't think this kind of bad form that the Chargers are in, I don't think it's that justified when you see these kind of fine margins that they're losing by, or close margins at least. So I'm going to go for the Chargers to cover as well. Okay, so next game up is the Chiefs at the Broncos, and the Chiefs are 9.5-point favorites.
Yeah, I'll make this one pretty easy as well. I'm a big believer in the Chiefs. It's a big spread, but we've kind of talked before about how the Chiefs seem to be in cruise control. And I'm starting to think now, after that Bills win, they made the Bills look pretty bad. And I think they're going to start kicking it up a notch now that we're getting about halfway into the season. So I'll take the Chiefs to win and the Chiefs to cover.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the Chiefs cruise control theory. So I'm going to take the Chiefs to win, but I'm going to take the points in this one. I wouldn't mind having like one more point to get over the 10. That would be the ideal. But
Give you one more. You want it?
No, I'm not. I'm not you. I don't.
What does that mean? What do I go around the streets begging for points and spreads?
You go around begging
please,
for
please, sir, can I have some more?
Those, Frank, you do go around the streets begging for things, but they are not points.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's pointy.
Maybe that's what you call it, but anyway, no, I'll just take the full non-Frank adjusted 9.5 points for the Broncos.
So you're taking the Broncos on the points, okay?
Yes, but to be clear, the Chiefs to win.
Okay. I'm going to Chiefs and to cover in this one. I think even though the Broncos beat the Pats, they still offensively look terrible in that win. I mean, if it wasn't for McManus's boot, they would have literally done nothing. So defense stepped up a bit, but I think the Chiefs are much better. 9.5 scares me a bit, but because of what you guys have said, but I probably lean more towards Frank that now we're getting to the turn of the season. They're going to start stepping out more. So I'm going to go Chiefs and to take them with the points at the 9.5. Next up is the 49ers at the Pats, and the Pats have a 2-point. They're 2-point.
Wait, what? You cut yourself off. 2-point favorites, I think.
Yeah, they're 2-point favorites. Patriots are 2-point favorites over the 49ers.
This is a good one for Eddie because he already said the Niners are done 2 weeks ago, and then now he's kind of been pushing that the Patriots might be done last week. So it's a great one for Eddie to see who is more done, who is well done.
I've got a message for you, Frank. The Niners are back.
My dad is going to be so pissed. Every week he gives me like 2 or 3 comments about the podcast, and number one is always, does Eddie ever stop with the Niners? And they now become Eddie's Niners, as if you're the only fan of the Niners. Like we'll be watching games.
They're not a popular team, you know.
Yeah. And, he'll be like, oh, did you see Eddie's Niners got crushed? It's like, well, I think they're San Francisco's Niners, but.
No, I like this. You can tell them I approve of them being called Eddie's Niners. I hope that catches on. I hope one day I'm watching the NFL Network and they're like, I'm going to take Eddie's Niners minus the 3 points here.
Well, we all know that you started and are the sole writer for Niners Nation. And it's actually all in your head. It's not even a real website.
It's an elaborate universe that I've created for myself, okay? Just let me have it. This almost has to be a revenge game for me for the Patriots for thoroughly ruining my weekend last Sunday. So I'm taking the Niners. I actually think fundamentally, I thought the Patriots were so unimpressive in that game, and they deserve to lose to the Broncos. And to me, based on that form, and then when I even think about the fact that they, like against the Seahawks should have beaten them more easily, and they kind of hung in the game and got some sort of late touchdowns. Now, they obviously could have ended up winning that one, but still, I'm going to feel fairly confident about the Niners.
You've got a fear for the Pats a bit here, haven't you? Like ever since Newton's the COVID situation with Newton, the Pats just haven't looked the same. And I saw that it was obviously Garoppolo going back to New England since was it first time since 2017 when he was there. So,
well, this is the interesting one actually. This is like the last time the Niners, just to make your dad happy, the last time the Niners were in New England was actually like the peak of the Kaepernick era. If you remember, Frank, there was that like December game back in 2012 when it was all the rain, and I think the Niners won like 41-34 or 41-37, something like that.
Did you just ask me to remember a game from 2012?
Yeah, come on, Frank.
When you just said they played the Seahawks well, I had to really, really dig hard to think that they even had played the Seahawks this year.
Oh dear. All right. Well, that is the last time the Niners were in New England. So that will be an interesting one. And yeah, it is the Jimmy G return game. But I think when you look statistically at it, it's actually pretty close. Time of possession, they're pretty similar. Points allowed, they're pretty similar. You know, it's 22 points allowed versus 21.7 points allowed. Yards, you know, their own scoring, pretty close. The Niners have a slight edge. Passing offense, the Niners have a slight edge. Rushing offense, interestingly enough, the Patriots have kind of considerable edge. They have the second best rushing offense in the league with 167.2 yards per game.
Well, it's because all Newton can do is run.
Yeah, it's kind of misleading, right? Because it comes at the expense of their passing game. So it's a little bit different. Total yardage is an edge for the Niners. So yeah, I feel pretty good about this.
I had it down as pretty low scoring, but I just fear more for the Pats offense than I do. So for me, I've got the 49ers down as well and to cover. So
yeah, low scoring. The over under is 44.5. So definitely people think it's going to be low scoring. Yeah. So Eddie made the comment that the Patriots didn't look too impressive last week. I don't think they've looked impressive in any real game this year. I mean, now that I'm going back to the Seahawks game, I can remember they played decently, you know, and they had the win against Vegas, but I'm still not sold on Vegas. I mean, they had that one good win against the Chiefs, but I think that was more a blip in the Chiefs than anything. So to me, you know, they just beat the Dolphins, right? That's their other win. So yeah, I can't go with the Patriots, especially after last week. I can't pick them to be what's still a decent Niners team. I mean, they're maybe not the Niners of last year, but they're still good and they're still really well coached. So, you know, Shanahan's going to be prepped well for this, and they're coming off a nice win against the Rams. So I'll take the Niners as well.
Move into the Sunday games.
They're all Sunday games.
Did you know? Sorry, what I would tell you, I had a meltdown there. Did you see that a couple of games have been moved for the?
So the Seahawks are now the night game, and then the Bucks, Vegas are now the afternoon game.
So speaking of the Bucks are the Raiders, and the Bucks are 4-point favorites.
I'll be quick here. I think a little bit like Frank touched on, I don't really believe in the Raiders that much. I also don't think the Bucks are incredible, but they at least showed last week, you know, what they are capable of, and so. This is gonna fall into one of those categories in a way of kind of for me watching both teams because it will be an interesting test of where they are. But I'm going to take the Bucks to cover the spread.
Yeah, this is one of these ones where it's a good matchup for the Bucks, both sides. So they have a really good run defense, and the Raiders, you know, like to have their offense started on Josh Jacobs, who's been doing really well this year. So if the Bucks can shut that down, then they can put the ball in Derek Carr's hands and force him. And I think that could be risky for the Raiders. And then on the other side, Vegas sucks against the run, and the Bucks run game has looked pretty good the past few weeks. So I think when you put those two together, I'll take the Bucks to win and to cover.
Thing with the Raiders, though, they do turn up. Their two wins this season have been the Chiefs and the Saints. So they do turn up against the big teams. So it was one of the things, like the Bucks look good, but I put it down more to the Packers imploding than I do really the Bucks kind of massively looking incredible. So even though I think the Bucks will win, that kind of I was tempted by the Raiders covering, and it seemed as a close game. But again, it's similar to the Bengals one, is that 4 doesn't feel enough for me. If you were looking at maybe 5 or 6, I probably would have said Bucks win, Raiders cover. But I'm going to go Bucks win, and they cover the 4. But I think it'll be a pretty close game. So I don't think it'll be overly massive to that 4.
And the Raiders have 3, so they 3 wins. They also beat the Panthers in week 1.
Do you think they move this game?
Or week 2, sorry.
Do you think they move this game because the Bucks refuse to have another game with the unpatriotic announcers of Drew Buck and Troy Aikman?
What's so funny is it. Oh man, I'm not going to get into it, but it was like some of the clickbait. Some of the clickbait on it was, like, oh, they've so disrespected, like the armed services, but they really didn't disrespect the armed services. No. They were more disrespecting the U.S. government for paying for things like
Trump.
that. Like
kind of Trump specifically.
Yeah, there was no disrespect. It wasn't like they were like, look at those idiots flying those stupid planes, those morons. They didn't say anything like that at all.
No, I just said it was a waste of money.
Yeah, and that's got nothing. That's not a disrespect on on the armed services, really.
If anything, so right? Because I think that was one of the things that came out of it, right? Because some people were like, no, the U.S., the Army or the Air Force pays for flyovers, which I think occasionally is the case because they see it as good advertising in a way and a good way for like recruitment and raising awareness. So I do think there are moments when they do pay for those. I think this one fell into the category where it was like specifically requested to happen. So I think it was the U.S. taxpayer who was footing that bill.
Yeah.
The only thing I guess that really killed them, right, was how sarcastic each one of them was. Yeah. And when Aikman, then I think it was Aikman, made the comment of like, this won't be happening under Biden and Harris. That was bad. I mean, I don't think it's bad. I think it's actually an honest, truthful statement, so it's fine. But that's when it passed over from the like, what for them would have been defensible. Like, no, we were just saying like, this seems like a waste of money, to being more, it was like a political statement by them.
Well, I don't think that will ever change. I don't think that's going to be their number one thing if they get into office is we've got to stop these flyovers, guys. They're killing us. But it is funny that I still don't get what the point of it is. What's the point of a flyover if there's no fans there? I've been in a game when they do the flyover, and it's really cool. Like, I think the last one was when the Giants were in the playoffs. They did it, and it's loud and it has an effect and it's neat and it kind of gets you fired up. So I can understand it in that sense. But when there's no one in the stands, what's the point of it?
That would be, and that was their point.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
That's what they were commenting on over an empty stadium. I'll say 2 things. Fly over an empty stadium makes no sense. And 2, keep the flyover special. So use it for like playoff games in the Super Bowl. Don't have it like, oh, we have flyovers for like regular season games between non-playoff teams. Don't do that, because then when you get to the big moment, it's not like huge, right? And it's just like, have it be that special moment. Oh, I was at a game with a flyover. That must have been a cool experience. Yeah. Oh no, it was a preseason game between the Browns and the Bengals.
All right, last game. Bears at the Rams, and the Rams are 6-point favorites.
The Rams are 6-point favorites?
Yeah. I looked at the Rams and the games they've won, they've basically beaten the NFC East. Yeah. So in what is it? They've beaten all the teams in the NFC East. So I hardly think that's the most stellar understanding of where this Rams team are, because if you put the NFC East in front of most people, they will be beaten. So I'm not really sure how good this team is. And the thing with the Bears is that they keep having these performances. I will say that they do have one thing that the Rams are good at is putting pressure on QBs, and Foles is not a good quarterback when pressure's put on him, especially right up the gut in the middle. But I can see this being a really low-scoring, defensively led game. But I think 6 is really steep in terms of the kind of Rams being favorites. And truth be told, I'm more inclined to just lean slightly with the Bears. So I'm going to go with the Bears in this one. It's one of my surprising ones, because I had that similar problem as Eddie mentioned about I've gone with so many teams to just go with the spread and go with favoritism that there's always going to be a couple where it doesn't happen. And the more I looked at it, this was one of them. So I'm going with the Bears on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to round this off. I don't want to make my pick based on having chosen too many favorites, even if statistically that's kind of the smarter move. So I think that the Rams are the considerably better team, even if I don't think the Bears are bad. So I am going to take the Rams to win, and I'm going to take the Rams to cover the spread. I think that their offensive woes will kind of end for this week, and that they'll be too explosive for the Bears.
So the benchmark here is actually the New York Giants. The Rams beat the Giants 17-9. The Bears beat the Giants 17-13. So pretty close. Pretty
Such
close.
An arbitrary bench.
Right? Well, it's the only team they've both played. So, yeah, right? Have the Giants played the Niners yet?
Yeah, the Giants played the Niners too. They both lost to the Niners.
They both lost to the Niners. Yeah. Okay, never mind. So I'm going to go. This is tough. Surprising here is the Rams defense, statistically, points-wise, is giving up less points per game than the Bears. I would have thought that would have been the other way around. I did not think the Rams defense was that good. But again, they've played the NFC East, so how good is it? I'm going to – this is tough. I'm going to take the Bears with the points. I think 6 is a lot to give to a 5-1 team. Even if they're not that great of a 5-1 team, I think they can keep it within a touchdown. Money line – I mean, the Niners suck, and they got smoked by the Niners. So, Bears to win. We need to have a better week this week.
Yeah. It's worth noting, right, in our Buck Aikman discussion, maybe just saying Frank really hates Joe Buck.
Oh,
and
God.
Frank, I think you should go and listen to the Joe Buck podcast called Daddy Issues.
No, I would never listen to Joe Buck podcast. I'd rather burn my phone than have to listen to it.
I want to see you try to burn your phone.
Yep. Melt it.
Wow.
I'd rather melt my phone than melt my mind with Joe Buck's annoyingness.
I really don't get the Joe Buck hatred.
He's terrible. He's so arrogant. First off, he's so arrogant. He's like, oh, when I did this game, when I did that game, blah, blah, blah. He thinks he's like the world's greatest announcer for every sport that's ever existed.
I love the hatred. I think it's so unfounded. I love the hatred. I think he's one of the better announcers in American sports.
Well, and that's why you're not American, Eddie.
The only thing about Joe Buck that once you pick up on it kind of ruins him for you is the tendency he does to do and it's caught. And he does that like 6 times a game, and he does it a lot on big plays. So when you're watching Sunday Night Football, just keep an eye out for it. He'll be like, who's playing this week? Like Wilson drops back, Wilson under pressure, Wilson throws it deep, and it's caught by DK Metcalf at the 12. And he does that like over and over again. That's the one thing about him that bugs me. But
he's terrible. I might even take Booger over him.
No. Just name alone. How an adult human being is going around this world calling himself Booker. I mean, does his credit card say Booker?
Oh, for sure. Now, if
he's walking into a bank to like try and get a mortgage, and they're like, "Oh, nice to meet you," and he's like, "No, don't call me McFarland. You can call me Booker."
Do you think his friends call him Boog for short?
No, full Booger.
Full Booger.
It's honestly hard for me to think, and I know this plays into that like Mitchell and Webb sketch. It's hard for me to think of a worse name that like is a real name. Like obviously like Shitbrain would be a worse name, but that's not going to happen, right?
Well, according to Sam, Frank would be a worse name. Sam went
your name's just
full
bland.
blown on my name last week.
Look at that, Sam. You see, he hasn't recovered yet. He's still
No,
the
he's still
wound has
bitter.
not
He's still
healed.
bitter
Oh,
and angry.
that was my dad's other comment. He said, "Wait till I see Sam in person. I'll show him a Frank."
I don't even know what that means.
He's gonna knock your fucking ass out, Sam.
No, I don't know if it's worse that he's saying that you're not really a Frank.
He said, "I don't care."
Yeah, no, that was an
if he hosts a
interesting.
podcast.
That was an interesting take. I think, Sam, the feedback universally has fallen into the category that your name, whilst it's not a criticism of it, is the most average name.
The viewers have spoken. The listeners have spoken. Yeah, listen.
The viewers are spoken to. I have a few people who watch me while we record.
Who, Sam and I?
Yeah. Actually, ironically, no.
Yeah,
But yeah, speaking of controversy, I guess, and bad names, I'm going to do one of my world famous segues here. The hot debate in the footballing world, by that I mean soccer world, has been the two proposals that were discussed or are being discussed. The first of which was this restructuring of the Premier League that would have basically labeled 6 teams as unrelegatable. I don't know how to phrase it. And that was basically came from American owners. I mean, I think it basically purely came out of the Liverpool ownership group in conjunction a little bit with the Glazers. So the Liverpool owner being the
Fucking
Boston
LeBron.
group that owns the Red Sox. LeBron has a very tiny percentage, but yeah, the Boston group that owns the Red Sox, and the Glazers who own the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who also own Manchester United. And so the two of them together, seemingly, but mostly from the Boston group, came up with the idea to, I think they're like called the Fenway Group, something like that. But they put together this proposal where basically Manchester United and Liverpool and Manchester City and the other big teams would never be at threat of going down. And in addition to that, they kind of tried to make the deal seem more appealing by saying that they would share more money throughout the lower leagues in the football world. So that was part of it. But what they also then agreed was that teams would be able to individually negotiate their broadcasting rights. I think it was for 7 games a season. I think something like that. It was basically going to put them in a position where they were going to be in total control of the future of the Premier League. Like once they established this foothold.
So real quick, by being able to control their own broadcast rights, then they could basically make like a Liverpool TV, kind of how
the way
like
the
Big
Yankees,
Ten and the Yankees have their own
like Yes Network, yeah.
And then that would clearly. So right now, everything that's televised, it gets split equally among the Premier League.
Yeah, broadcasting rights are split equally. I think some of it goes into the prize pool in a way, but fundamentally the broadcasting rights are split between all the teams equally. So when they strike the like New Sky deal or the BT Sports deal, that all goes throughout the league.
I thought there was like a base amount, and then it's to do with how much you're actually live. So that obviously teams like Man U, Arsenal, etc., get more money, but the logic is because more people want to see them, they do give them more money. Like I thought there was like a base level.
That's marginal though, right? Like the majority chunk is there for every team. The fear would be right that if you had it totally negotiable, why would anyone ever show Norwich Crystal Palace on television, for example?
Yeah.
And so like if you are a bottom half team until maybe the end of the season, when you could argue that like relegation 6-pointers are compelling, you'd basically have a situation where people are just going to pay big money to watch Manchester United and Arsenal and Manchester City and Liverpool play every week, and the rest of them will just be picking up scraps.
Yeah. Wasn't it to do as well with the fact that the Premier League as a collective bargaining go to these countries and these television channels? And one of them was to do with that they keep not really negotiating with China that well, because obviously China basically just says we want like a very few games. We just want the big teams. But obviously the Premier League can't go to the global markets and basically say, right, we'll just give you Liverpool and Man U. It has to basically say you get like the package. And so what the Big Six were trying to do, or basically what Liverpool were trying to do, is allow them to go to their like massive fan bases in China, in like the economies in Southeast Asia, and basically sell an absolute fortune for the rights to their games. And it was a complete cash grab, and everyone saw through it really quickly.
Well, and again, the other issue with it too is the fact that this was just the first step, right? Because basically what they needed was this to be passed, and then it was going to give them the ability, because at the moment, every team in the Premier League has a vote, and they vote collectively on things, whereas this was going to reduce it to the fact that it wouldn't be one vote, one club, and instead the 9 clubs that have remained in the Premier League the longest would have the votes, and all they would need is 6 of those clubs to vote in favor of something for it to be passed. So fundamentally what they're going to be able to do is like sneak this in, not sneak in, but perhaps have acceptable terms to start off with, and then from then on go, well, actually, you know what, why do we should just be able to negotiate all of our broadcasting rights. And also part of the proposal, right, was cutting this from the league from 20 to 18 teams. Just if you're a smaller team in the Premier League, or if you're any team thinking that you have a chance to be promoted anytime soon, it just made no sense. The fact that they also called it Project Big Picture, which it makes it really sound as if name. It took no time, but they probably paid some like group, £100,000 to come up with a name. But ignoring that fact, it sounds as if their plans are being named by like Bond villains, like it's like such a, how could you not hear, hey guys, I've got this great proposal, I'm calling it Project Big Picture, and not think that there was like something sinister about what you were trying to pass.
What you can imagine, like in Austin Powers with Dr. Evil, where he does like the inverted commas as he says it. Yeah.
Like, it's unbelievable. So yeah, fortunately, it was correctly sniffed out by enough clubs. So yeah, just overall, just a really bad look for Liverpool and a really bad PR move from their perspective. It just makes them look as a sort of evil team within the Premier League and the sort of threat to the future of English football. And again, not a great look for a foreign ownership group, because it is that fear that you've got these foreigners coming in who maybe don't understand that part of what makes English football great is the fact that you do have smaller teams that do things, and you do have a kind of the possibility of relegation and promotion, and that if you start removing these things and you just turn it into what would fundamentally be American franchise model, that you're removing some of that from the game.
Yeah, I had 2 big issues with it. I mean, one of them was the money they were giving to so essentially the EFL, so the English Football League, what sits below the Premier League, needs a bailout at the moment, because obviously they're not bringing in the fans, there's less TV money, so there's essentially less cash reserves. And most people, including like the UK government, are basically telling the Premier League, you're going to have to cough up. So it felt like they wrapped up the bailout plans within this project as well. It's almost like, we'll give you money, but we're going to screw you over in the 100%. Same process. But the one big flaw they had was that there's the league below the Premier League is called the Championship, and then there's 2 below that called League One and League Two. You need X amount from the Championship or X amount of League One and League Two for things to carry. And the problem was they screwed over the Championship so badly. They basically were going to get none of this money. And that was the idiotic move. If they even had a shred of getting this through, they needed to appease the Championship clubs. And they appeased League One and League Two clubs by saying, we'll give you the money. So that's obviously appealing. But it's the Championship ones they screwed. And ultimately, that's why it wasn't going to go through. Another interesting point is that the people that have actually come out well from this are the foreign owners that didn't get on board with Liverpool.
Yeah.
Man U. So like Stan Kroenke at Arsenal. They reserved judgment. They saw the way the wind was blowing, and then they came out and basically said, even though, we're part of this Liverpool thing that would consider the veto and stuff like that, we're absolutely against it, because they could just throw all of the sentiment at them. And he's the guy that owns the Rams, isn't he? Kroenke. I think he owns the LA Rams.
Yeah, the Rams, the Colorado Avalanche, I think the Colorado Rockies too.
Yeah, so
that must be so nice to own multiple sports franchise. It's gotta be
It's
so
not.
cool.
I'll take one as a start.
Yeah, I'll take a single one as well. I mean, to be fair, Kroenke at Arsenal's not overly liked, but it has come out recently that the Thomas Partey deal, which everyone's really happy about, that it actually turns out that Kroenke coughed up basically the entire amount of money, the 45 million, in order to sign him. And he had a really good debut tonight, and I think he's probably gone up in a lot of Arsenal fans' estimations from
Very
that.
generous of him. Is a multi-billionaire. Very generous.
Yeah, 45 million, like begging the club that you own, begging you for money. You kind of should start thinking about how you're banking that club anyway.
In a move that potentially increases their value anyway by perhaps more than 45 million.
Yeah, it was dumb. This whole thing's dumb, and if anything, it's just made me hate Liverpool more.
Yeah, and I mean, put it this way, it was difficult for them to sweeten the deal for the championship anyway. I almost feel like it was strategic, where they knew there was no way championship clubs were going to be on board, because just reducing the size of the Premier League and the fact that they were going to switch to two teams being relegated and then the third team playing in a playoff meant that you were reducing the possibility. You were making the championship more competitive and the possibilities for promotion, slimmer. You were never going to have championship clubs really on board. And this also completes a bad week for Liverpool overall, because they also are supposedly behind the proposal for the European Super League, which again is an idea that's been floated around for a while now. But basically the simple concept is to create a European league that would take the same format as all the other leagues, but instead be composed of the best teams from the major European leagues. So the best teams from England.
So is that in place of like Liverpool being in the Premier League? They would be in this league, or is it in place of like Champions League?
No,
the idea is
no.
In
So
place
it's a
of their
league.
domestic league. Yeah.
So okay, so basically this is the league they would play in throughout the year.
Yeah.
Who would do that?
I did like the La Liga president. His name is Javier Tebas. I don't know.
Tebas. Yeah.
I liked his quote on it, which was, "This shows a total ignorance of the organization and customs of European and world football, but also a serious ignorance of the audiovisual rights markets. A project of this type will mean serious economic damage to the organizers themselves and to the entities that finance them, if they even exist, because they're never official. These underground projects only look good when drafted at a bar at 5 a.m. I'd like to run in the circles where my 5 a.m. bar discussions were about how to restructure European football.
I feel like we may have had that.
Possibly. Just with less chance of pulling it off.
Yeah, Did you see the FIFA president today? Infantino came out and said, like, obviously everyone's broaching a Super League idea, and he basically came out and said, "I wouldn't want to see Liverpool in a Super League." And so a lot of people, obviously, what he's referring to is like, I would prefer them to keep in the Premier League because FIFA are completely against this European Super League idea. But obviously, it came out as just him going like, "No, I just don't want to see Liverpool at an elite level." So it's quite interesting.
I mean, that's going to be the interesting one, right? Because you're always going to have clubs who are in favor. Like, I'm sure PSG are in favor because their domestic experience is so dull. So why wouldn't they want to take part in the European Super League? They're also a club that's, I think they were formed in like 1972 anyway, so they don't have a tremendous amount of history. It's very different to clubs in England that might feel like, no, do you know what? We want to be able to play, teams like Middlesbrough or Sunderland or Wolves or whoever it is who we've been playing against each other for 120 years. A little bit different. But
yeah, I don't even get it though, because I feel like that's what Champions League kind of does, is it puts the best teams against each other anyway. So you're still getting to see some of that competition. I mean, granted, you're not getting to see it at a level of a whole season, and not every team's playing every team, which would be exciting maybe to see some of the matchups that might not play out in the cards for Champions League. But I mean, Champions League kind of does that decently. I mean, it's fun to watch. It's good. You get that, like cross-country rivalries going, and at the same time, you still get to play in your own league.
Yeah, I mean, they're not thinking about it from the competition standpoint.
Money.
Yeah, I understand they're thinking from the money standpoint.
And
but
to me, what they're not thinking about is the fact that, yeah, when you bring all these teams together, they are the elite of the elite. But once you form this league, they can all remain elite. Like, if Atletico Madrid join the league and then become the worst team in the European Super League, they're no longer in the elite of the elite. They'll suffer in the same way that, say, Crystal Palace suffer in the Premier League. You're feeding off the scraps of the big teams, just in a more direct fashion. So in the long term, you're going to be kind of in the same situation. It might take a while, but fundamentally, you're going to get back to where you started from.
Yeah, and then the top 10 will want to spread.
Yeah, form another top 10.
Yeah,
or some other team within Europe will pop up, right? Emerge in like, say, all these big teams leave, and then all of a sudden Newcastle become the dominant side in England, and then they go, okay, now we want Newcastle in the European Super League because they kind of deserve this promotion.
And then the MLS is going to get really good, and then the whole league's going to be filled with MLS teams.
Let's not get totally unrealistic.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: as part of me as a Blackburn Rovers supporter, would almost love this, because in a way it would level the playing field in the English league. If you told me that Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool, and say Arsenal were leaving the Premier League tomorrow, then you'd say, like, wow, there is a possibility that in the next 20 years Blackburn could win the league. Whereas as things stand, it's never
Eddie, I
gonna
think of
happen.
that already.
I do. I dream of it sometimes.
Yeah. Now who's been unrealistic? It's the whole thing's dumb because it plays onto what you were saying about the elite level, is that the reason the Champions League works well is because these mega games can happen once, or like obviously when they're two-legged, twice a season, and you really look forward to it. You really hope that that's it. If you know every single year that your team is going to play every other elite team and only elite teams, it just becomes, I actually just think it would dull it. I don't think the games would be that exciting.
Just look at this season. Everyone's excited because Juventus and Barcelona are in the same group in the Champions League, and it's going to be, the first time Messi and Ronaldo have played each other in the group stages. If you had a European Super League, it would be like, well, Messi and Ronaldo play each other twice a season, guaranteed every season. Oh, and Barcelona play Manchester United every season, twice a season, and Liverpool play PSG twice a season, every season. The novelty and the excitement that you get for these games, like the Champions League group stages this year, PSG Manchester United is more interesting because it doesn't happen that often. If it happened every year, it would be the equivalent of Manchester United playing Spurs, which, okay, it's a big match, but you're not sort of thrilled. You're not like, oh, Sam, 3 weeks from now it's Man United Spurs. I mean, this weekend's Chelsea Manchester United, it's not nearly as exciting as it would be if that match only took place once every 5 seasons.
Oh, Eddie, speaking of which, though, you talk about the Ronaldo Messi. That won't actually happen this week because Ronaldo retested positive for COVID. So he's having to stay in his house and pose half nude in his pictures for another week and a half.
He'll have to go full nude.
Yeah, there's only one way to go, right?
Must be the shorts. The shorts are contaminated.
Well, he shaved his head. Maybe he thought COVID is actually lice, so he wanted to get rid of his hair just in case. Yeah.
Did he shave his? Man, I don't know if anyone follows Ronaldo more closely than you do. You're like, it looks like he hasn't shaved his legs in at least 6 hours.
He's there, like, zooming in on the photo, like pinching in on his phone.
Guys, it looks like he switched from waxing to shaving.
I DM'd him 10 times, but he didn't respond.
Guys, it looks like he changed his underwear he's wearing. They're not holding it in as tightly.
Yeah, they're not as soiled.
Oh, dear. But Frank's are while he looks at the picture on both sides.
Yep.
But I guess that wraps up our Premier League talk. Just to throw in maybe one final sporting event worth mentioning is returning. The Six Nations comes back this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We need to start becoming a big rugby podcast. I enjoy rugby.
Nothing exciting this weekend in the sense that the only match taking place is Ireland-Italy. So not exactly a thriller, and you'd expect Ireland to win comfortably. But assuming Ireland do win, it means going into the final weekend, which will be next Saturday, which will be like a super Saturday where the 3 matches take place one after the other. 3 teams will be level on points and have a chance at winning the Six Nations, depending on how results go.
I was going to ask, can you give me the standings right now?
England are top, and you have to assume that England will win because England play Italy in the final match. So it puts England in the strongest position in that, assuming they win with a bonus point, it's all within their hands, I believe, having not looked at the table. But I think fundamentally, if they do their job, it's over.
Yeah,
but if
they don't have any sort of. I think they're positive on points as well compared to the other two. Yeah. So if they win their game, fundamentally they're going to score more points because they've got the worst team.
Yeah. So I guess there could be a major point swing if Ireland absolutely destroy Italy, and then would need to probably do the same to France. But it looks to be in England's hands.
Now, do you think it would be neat if Six Nations did a championship game at the end to decide it? Take the 2 highest teams and play one more match?
No, I don't think so. I think there's really exciting.
It's just so European. Like, it's just such a European thing to just win the table, to be the champion.
The final games of Six Nations are usually incredibly exciting. What was it, like 5 or 6 years ago when England played France and they had to, beat the French by something like 35 points to win the Six Nations, and they absolutely creamed the French, but they only won by like 33 or something like that. The games are incredibly exciting, and sometimes the last game isn't the best, if that makes sense. Like, usually you could have an absolutely incredible game that half decides the Six Nations by the 3rd or 4th game. And I don't think anyone would want that kind of. They do it in the English rugby. They have like the Premiership, and then they have the Premiership rugby final. Essentially, I guess it's not really a Super Bowl. It's just 2 teams that were high up on the Premier League play each other in the final. I don't like it. I don't agree with this final game thing. I think the league never lies, right? And best team at the top is the winner.
I mean, the only reason I say that is because kind of what Eddie's saying is that England's last match is a relatively crappy match, right? So they're gonna win, and they're gonna win off of like not a great game. You know what I mean? It's like they're winning the championship, but the match itself is kind of boring.
Yeah, no, it's not. The thing I will say, I actually now looking, because I hadn't looked at the table in a while, now looking at the table, my assessment of the situation was actually a little bit off. So if Ireland win both of their remaining matches with a bonus point, they will be Six Nations champions. So you would expect them to do that against Italy, but then it's a question of them getting a bonus point win against France, which is based on the French form at times earlier on in the season, not that easy.
It's in France, right?
Yes.
Their hatred.
Did you just shit yourself when you answered that? Yes.
No, I had a moment of doubting myself, and then I remembered that when I'd looked at the schedule, I'd thought, oh, it's at the Stade de France. The last time I went to the Stade de France was the France-England match just before all this pandemic kind of got underway.
We 100% got the virus there. I mean, it's.
But yeah, right, that's put you into some kind of zombie state there, Sam. Reminiscing, but yeah, no. So it's gonna be an interesting one. And they've at least scheduled it right. The thing that's difficult in a way, it will come down to the final match because the France-Ireland match is the last match of the day. So. They will each know exactly what they have to do in order to win, because there is a possibility, I suppose, that Ireland don't need the bonus point going into the final match. But be exciting. The thing they've done really brilliantly, given the fact that we have a 9:00 curfew, is that they've scheduled the kickoff for 9:30. So that's perfect.
That is perfect, because then you'll have time to leave the bar and get to your house and watch it.
Maybe it's a trick. Maybe that means the Ireland team won't be allowed to attend the match. France will just win by forfeit.
They just have to sleep the night over wherever they're at.
Yeah, they have to sleep in the Stade de France. But yeah, I guess we can take a deeper look at that one next weekend when the 3 matches are all coming on, and do our little mini predictions there. This one, you just have to assume Ireland will get the job done and beat Italy convincingly.
So I have a little golf video for you guys to watch. I'll share with you guys. I'm sure you haven't seen it. As you know, we are a pro Gritty podcast. Gritty the mascot, not Gritty the dance. And Gritty took himself to Topgolf and took a few swings in Topgolf. And I'd like you guys to see his. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay. Now, Eddie, don't you wish you could hit the ball like this? Because we all know how terrible you are at the driving range. We've seen it. Here he goes, getting in the stance and demolishes the ball dead center to the fence in Topgolf, and then does his little Gritty dance. Yep. Look at those crazy eyes. Look at the crazy eyes and focus of Gritty.
I don't know
mascot.
if
Look at it. He crushes that ball.
I don't know if
he absolutely creeps it.
He does cream it. He does cream it. I don't know if it's hitting the fence. I don't know if I go that far, because it looks like it's like a 3-wood. So if he's hitting his 3-wood like 350 yards, that's pretty impressive. But he does seem like he crushed it.
Now here's the question: since we talk about mascots often, do you think the person in there is actually the person who normally plays Gritty, or do you think that's like a PGA Tour player they put in there?
It's like Tiger Woods
for the publicity.
Weekend. I'm going to assume it's the person who is.
And that's pretty impressive.
Either way, no matter who it is, even if you told me it was Tiger Woods or whoever, to hit the ball that well with the
terrible suit.
With the costume on is pretty incredible. Like, I even know sometimes when I go and hit a golf ball and I have like the wrong jacket on, and then either it's not flexible enough or it's too loose, and so then it kind of gets in the way. Already that is annoying. So I can't imagine having to then deal with an actual mascot costume on.
Yeah, it was pretty. And I mean, I'm making the assumption here, but that could have been his only swing he took. So to step up and have that be your one swing.
That's not his one swing. That was his
I think it was.
Swing. No.
I think it was one.
Here's the question is, would you pay then? Like, if you think of the Woods, Manning, Brady, Mickelson thing.
I would pay anything, any amount of money to see Gritty play a whole 18 against any of them.
If it was like Gritty and like Tiger Woods versus Mickelson and some other mascot.
Gunnosaurus Rex.
Gunnosaurus Rex, perfect. With those little arms, he'd have no chance.
There's like a charity fundraiser for him.
Oh, that'd be so funny.
Oh yeah, because those are like going to get the salary to pay him anymore.
And then Tiger Woods turns away and Gritty just clocks him in the back of the head. Oh man, that would be so funny. Actually, I read another good mascot. Ooh, to bring this full circle to the Ohio.
Oh God! Do you want me to tell you how that's it?
I know how it goes, Eddie. I went to Penn State. I know how their stupid chant goes.
All right.
So Brutus is the Ohio State mascot. You know what Brutus looks like, right, Eddie? He's like it's a Greek warrior or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, he's like all dressed up. He's got the sword and everything.
Roman, I assume, but yeah.
Brutus was Roman.
Roman, yeah. So they were playing Ohio. This had to be, I think it was like 10 years ago now, maybe a little more. And Ohio's mascot is the Bobcat. So Ohio's football team is nowhere near the same level as Ohio State's, and they don't play often. And this kid had always dreamed like what he would do, because he had been the mascot for the Ohio Bobcats, dressing up as like a bobcat, dreaming what he would do if they ever played Ohio State. And he came up with this plan that then came to fruition because they ended up playing Ohio State, where in Ohio State, Brutus was leading out the team with a cheerleader and a flag. And the guy dressed up in the Bobcat uniform was on the sidelines. And as Brutus went to the center of the field, he ran full steam and tried to tackle him and just like lay him out in the middle of Ohio State Stadium, which apparently, according to mascot code, is like really against the rules. You don't do that kind of stuff. But at the last second, his head started coming off. So he kind of like half backed out of the tackle, and Brutus saw it and kind of like swung him around and knocked off his head. So then the mascot was really embarrassed that he had his head knocked off. And then Brutus was like, screw it. This guy's just being an asshole or whatever. So they continued to carry the flag to the end zone. And the guy got back up, put his head back on, and chased him down full steam and jumped on Brutus's back and like brought him to the ground and started punching him from behind. And then eventually like ran away. And supposedly there were fans at the stadium that legitimately wanted to fight the mascot person for embarrassing Brutus so much. They took it so personally. It was amazing. It's like this whole story in ESPN about where they are now in their lives and stuff. It was great.
Not a great look. Just for context, Sam, in case you're trying to imagine this, because you're probably thinking Brutus is like a centurion or like a Spartan warrior of some sort.
Yeah, something quite, I guess, as classy as you can be as a mascot in Roman regalia.
So he literally, he has a buckeye for a head, which is a type of nut. Imagine like a chestnut, a giant chestnut head. And he's wearing a red and gray striped like sweater. So there's nothing
he's got
physically,
a helmet.
There's nothing like physically intimidating about him.
But the funny thing about the video,
does he have a helmet? I thought he wore a little hat.
I think it's a helmet.
I think it's just a little baseball cap.
No, I think it's a helmet.
He looks like a bumblebee.
But wait,
he's a buckeye.
The funny thing about the video
is
is
a literal
that
nut.
The University of Ohio mascot, the Bobcat, the mascot has like these really like crazy looking eyes. So in the video, when you're watching the mascot run after Brutus, he's got like these bulging crazy eyes, and it makes it look so realistic that he's like this psycho mascot. Here, so if you can see, here's Brutus coming in. I'm playing the video now. There's Brutus. Here's him, and he tries to tackle him. It misses. So now Brutus is like, "What's up? What's up?" Are you right? It is a hat in this one. But look, he's still chasing him down. He's still chasing him down. And then he re-tackles him. He chases him for 40 yards. And then pins him to the ground.
I like that also it goes on while the Ohio State players are taking a knee around him.
Yeah, and then the coach comes in finally. He's like, "Get out of here, man."
Which either makes it look like this is some like ritual fight that takes place before, and like the Ohio State players are like doing their job of like paying like homage to the two like fighters that are about to go into the ring.
Yeah, we are who are about to die. Salute you, kind of.
Exactly. Or that they are recognizing that their mascot is dead or about to die, and they are immediately just paying their respects.
Oh, that's pretty funny. Mascots. What a weird thing a mascot is.
Yeah, gotta be a weird life. Well, I guess that one thing we have to do before we wrap it up, just to finish the podcast and reward everyone who's made it this far. Bet of the week.
How are our bets of the week doing so far?
Well,
so in the new system that we have, right, with this real $100,000 we've each pumped in, last week, Sam and I lost. Sam only lost 5,000. I lost 10,000. But Frank, with your Zaha anytime scorer, as we mentioned on Monday, you won. And that means that now the current standings, Frank, you have $125,000. Sam has $95,000, and I have $90,000.
I cash out?
Yeah, we'll pay you out. Don't worry.
I'll go first.
So,
I actually like two of the toss-up games according to the spread. So I really like the Cowboys over this is just money line as well. But I like the Cowboys over Washington, and I like the Steelers over the Titans. And money line, the even money 10 to 11. So I think, what's that, like
3.81.
There you go. So yeah, I'll take them both money line.
How much?
Round it up. So I'll go 15,000 on it.
15,000 total on it.
Yeah, so 15,000 on that.
Trying to close the gap on old Frank, I see.
Go hard or go home.
Does it go hard or does it go big? Go hard?
Well, sometimes you go hard to get big.
Yeah, show up hard, go home. So for me, I'm going for another accumulator here because it served me so well in the first week. I'm going to go for a fourfold moneyline NFL bet, so a four-way parlay for the Americans. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills moneyline, the New Orleans Saints moneyline, the Cleveland Browns moneyline, and the Green Bay Packers moneyline. And that pays 3.71, and I'm going to stick another 10,000 on it. The Hewitt mythical wallet is going to be getting a little bit tight if I lose two of these in a row.
Okay, so I think the issue with you guys, you just got to keep it easy. Too much with this parlay and stuff, guys. I'm going to keep it nice and easy.
This is rich coming from the guy who earlier on was recommending like 15 team teasers.
I'm going to recommend an 8-fold accumulator in the Europa League. Does it count if it already won?
No, unfortunately for you, it lost on Napoli.
Fortunately for me, I didn't have Napoli. But anyway, I'm going to keep it simple again. I'm going to go back to what I said in our little NFL preview, and I'm taking the Titans over in total points scored. And right now, Bet365 has that at 27 points. So I'm going the Titans over 27 points. They're going to expose that Steeler defense. And that is, for me, it's giving me American odds, which is plus 115. So I don't know what that is in fractionals.
Plus 115. That means that it's over evens, right? I never know what that means.
Yeah. Surely it's over or under the 27 mark. So it's going to be 10 to 11.
Yeah.
11 to 10.
11 to 10, I guess, in this instance.
Let's throw out 11 to 10. That works.
Well, let's throw that out. Let's not care.
Yep.
Just give you a little bit of extra juice in case you win 2 weeks in a row.
Yep. And then I will stake my winnings on it.
So you're going to stake the $25,000 on it?
Yep.
All right. I kind of like that as a move. Not going to lie.
Like what?
The Titans over, it's over 27.5, right?
It's, well, the way Bet365 structures it, it says under 27, exactly 27, or over 27.
Okay.
So
it's 27. So it's 27.5.
Yeah, you can't take the odds. 5. Otherwise, you're going to be on your community betting site saying like, no.
No, they didn't score any points.
Which is a weird thing why they would do that.
Well, it's three-way betting. It hedges. It means that whatever you're doing, you're 2/3 against it technically.
Oh, wait. Can I change?
An Asian market.
Can I change this now?
To what?
Because the two-way, I just noticed that was the three-way. The two-way is 25.5, and that's for even money. I'll just take that. So they got to score 26 or more for even. Good.
Just to be clear, it's 1.8 on the over. Trying to.
What?
It's 1.8 on the over. Over 25.5.
Oh, well, I was looking at under.
trying to screw us out of that 20% there, Frank.
Yeah, I'll just stick with that. 25.5. 1.8. Perfect. Love it.
Sounds good. All right. Guess we'll have to find out how that does on Monday.
Nah, we already know. All right. Talk to you boys later.
See ya.
Cheerio.